refusing to go to the U.S. The numbers are down like 23% in the first 7 months of the year. What do you say to Canadians that don't want to go to the U.S. now because of your 51st state talk, because of the trade war, the tariffs, and
well,
fear?
I understand it. Look, I understand that, and Americans don't want to buy cars that are made in Canada. You know, I mean, we have the same conflict. So there isn't. It's something that will get worked out. There's still great love between the two countries, but you know, American people want product here. They want to make it here. Detroit was emptied out and moved to Canada, moved to Mexico, moved to other places, not just Canada. And now they're all moving back, you know, they're moving back. We have, right now, I was just telling Mark, we have 17 trillion, but it's really much higher. That was as of a couple of months ago. Yeah. We have over $17 trillion being invested.
Canadians are refusing to go to the U.S. The numbers are down about 23 in the first 7 months of the year. What do you say to Canadians who don't want to visit the U.S. right now because of your 50 states comments, the trade war, tariffs, and fear? I understand that. I really do. But, you know, Americans don't want to buy cars made in Canada either. It goes both ways. It's something that will get worked out. There's still a lot of love between the two countries. The American people want products made here, and they want to make them here. Detroit was emptied out. It moved to Canada, to Mexico, to other places, not just Canada. Now they're all coming back. We've got tremendous investment happening, over $17 trillion, and honestly, it's even higher now. That's as of a couple of months ago. Over $17 trillion being invested right here in the United States.
Sir, on China, what more can the United States and Canada do together to counter China?
Well, you have to be able to compete. They're a great competitor, and Mark and I both know that, and you have to be able to compete. We have big advantages over China for lots of different reasons, and I think we're doing very well with China. I get along very well with President Xi. I'm going to be meeting him in a few weeks, as you know. I'll be meeting him in South Korea, but we've had a very good relationship for a long time. But you have to be able to compete. To do well with China, if you can't compete, you're not going to do well with China. And Canada is very competitive. I can tell you that. Canada is a very competitive country. And I think Canada's done very well over the years with China.
Sir, on China, what more can the United States and Canada do together to counter China? You have to be able to compete. China's a great competitor. Dimar and I both know that. We have major advantages over China for many reasons, and I think we're doing very well. I have a strong relationship with President Xi, and I'll be meeting with him in a few weeks in South Korea. We've had a very good relationship for a long time, but the key is competition. If you can't compete, you won't do well with China. And Canada's very competitive. It's a strong country, and it's done very well with China over the years.
Azerbaijan, Armenia, disabling Iran as a force of terror, and now, and I'm running out of time, but this is in many respects the most important.
The merger of Canada and the United States.
That wasn't where I was going.
Azerbaijan, Armenia, working to disable Iran as a force of terror. I'm running out of time. But in many respects, this is the most important partnership between Canada and the United. That's not where I was going.
No men and women's sports. I mean, basic things. We're not going to take your child away and change the sex of your child. We're not going to do things like that. What they're doing to the country is so incredible, and they got away with it with all their woke crap, and now it's stopped.
We're talking about basic things. We're not going to take your child away and change their gender. We're not doing that. What they've been doing to this country is unbelievable. They got away with it for a while with all their woke nonsense, but that's over now.
I'm getting calls from Democrats wanting to meet. I never even heard their names before, and they're claiming to be leaders. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia, okay? You know, and I met the president of Somalia. I told him about the problem he's got. I said, you have somebody from Somalia who's telling us how to run our country. She's from Somalia. He said, would you like to take her back? He said, no, I don't want her. Okay, you know who I'm talking about?
I'm getting calls from Democrats who want to meet. People I've never even heard of before, all claiming to be leaders. The truth is, the Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia. I actually met the president of Somalia, and I told him, "You've got someone from your country telling us how to run ours." He said, "Would you like to take her back?" I said, "No, I don't want her. You know who I'm talking about?"
How come the UK and the European Union have succeeded to sign deals and bring the tariffs down, and Canada still hasn't been able to do the same?
Yeah, because they're not located right next to each other. It makes it, in many cases, it's much better and easier, but.
Yeah, and if I may, let's be clear about the relationship as it stands right now. We are the second largest trading partner of the United States. We do a lot of trade going across the border where we're cooperating, first thing. Secondly, we are the largest foreign investor in the United States. $500 billion in the last 5 years alone, probably $8 trillion in the next 5 years if we get the agreement that we expect to get. Thirdly, there are areas, as the President just said, where conflict, maybe not so much conflict, we compete. There are areas where we compete, and it's in those areas where we have to come to an agreement that works. But there are more areas where we are stronger together, and that's what we're focused on. And we're going to get the right deal for America, right deal, obviously, from my perspective, for Canada.
The UK and the European Union have managed to sign trade deals and lower tariffs. Why hasn't Canada been able to do the same? Because they're not right next to each other. In many cases, that makes it easier for them. If I may, let's be clear about where things stand. Canada is the United States' second largest trading partner. We do a tremendous amount of trade across the border. Strong cooperation on both sides. We're also the largest foreign investor in the U.S. About $500 billion in the past 5 years alone, and likely $8 trillion more in the next 5 if we secure the agreement we're expecting. As the President said, there are areas where we don't necessarily conflict but do compete, and in those areas we need agreements that work for both sides. But there are far more areas where we're stronger together, and that's what we're focused on. Getting the right deal for America.
With a very small product, but it was high. So
we've
we've always had tariffs between the two of us, and actually Canada was charging us very high tariffs on our agricultural things, a lot of our agricultural product, and that's one of the things that we talk about for bringing that down. So this is a mutual thing, but we've been charged tariffs. Look, we're the king of being screwed by tariffs, just so you understand, and I'm not talking about with Canada, I'm talking about with countries all over the world. When you look at Europe, when you look at China, when you look at all of the, almost every country charged the U.S., we didn't charge them because we were led by stupid people in many cases. Stupid people. They took advantage of our country. They're not taking advantage of us anymore. If you looked at European Union, they're all my friends. I don't blame them. I blame our presidents. I blame our past presidents and, business leaders. But we are the king of countries that have been taken advantage of for many, many years. We've been paying trillions and trillions of dollars and receiving nothing at all. As an example, prior to the deal with Europe, where they pay a lot of money, but they're happy and I'm happy. The deal was good. It's a fair deal, but it wasn't fair. You couldn't put a car into Europe. You couldn't sell your agriculture into Europe. You couldn't do anything. And now we have it so that it's open. We charge them tariffs. We didn't charge them tariffs a car. They charge us tremendous. I said to Angela Merkel once, I said, how many cars have gone to Germany from the United States? And she said, well, I don't believe any. And I said, you're right. You're right. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. And they're paying a fair amount. It's just a fair amount. It's not, I could ask for much more. It's a fair amount. But the United States now is using the same thing that they've used on us. And I just can't believe it's taken presidents so long to do this. And again, we're going to treat people fairly. We're going to especially treat Canada fairly. But I can't believe it's taken so long where we get charged and don't charge them. Japan was a good example. We made a deal with Japan. You saw that, Mark? A deal with Japan. It's a much different deal than we've had in the past. But they would send us millions of cars. No charge. We weren't allowed to send them cars. We sent them no cars. I doubt you had one car go into Japan because we were restricted. They didn't want our cars. Same thing with Europe. Same thing with other places. So now all we do now is fairness. But fairness leads us to the most successful country there's ever been. You know, we have some advantages over other countries, and we do have a great market. We have an amazing market. But you know what? If I let this go, if we didn't win this election, if we had these people that were running, that were ruining our country, destroying our country with their open borders and men playing in women's sports and transgender from everybody and
We found one small product with a high tariff. Canada's been charging us huge tariffs on agriculture, so we're working to lower that. But this isn't one-sided. The US has been hit by tariffs from all over the world. We've been led by stupid people who let other countries take advantage of us. Europe, China, almost everyone. I don't blame them. I blame our past presidents and business leaders. For years, we paid trillions and got nothing in return. Before our new deal with Europe, we couldn't sell cars or farm goods there. Now it's open and fair. I even told Angela Merkel. No American cars were going to Germany. That's changed. We made a better deal with Japan too. They sent millions of cars here, but we couldn't send ours. Not anymore. All we're doing now is fairness, and fairness makes us stronger than ever. If we hadn't won the election, the people running before would have kept destroying our country with open borders and bad policies.